Hey everybody, I'm Nikki Vachon, College Access Counselor from the Finance Authority of Maine, she, her pronouns. I'm so glad you could join me today. I've got so many things to tell you. Um, we're going to talk about funding pathways for workforce and credentials of value. So when it comes to funding education after high school, and I'm talking anything from associate, bachelor's, certificate programs, credentials of values, there's a whole new level of credentials of values. So I just want to let you know that we're going to be talking about all of that and how to get the money to pay for it. And a lot of it's free. Um, if you're pursuing workforce training, any kind of credential of that, there's an increasing number of programs that makes it really affordable. So today we're going to talk about those programs. Whether you're a traditional student, a non-traditional student, doesn't matter. There's something for everyone. So let's get started. So here's our agenda. These are the things I'm going to cover. And keep in mind that I'm going to think about this like speed dating for programs. All right. I'm going to touch on a lot of these and move on. But I want you to know that there's always that, but wait, there's more that comes with these programs because a lot of these partners that we work with or we promote or things that they got going on, I'm going to talk about maybe a snippet of what they do. And I want you to think about this as there is no wrong door, right? So if something doesn't feel like it fits you or someone that you're working with, keep in mind that we all work together. And if there's something that maybe I don't have that will help you, one of my partners may have another way. So just keep a note, there is no wrong door. We're going to keep at that. Okay. So we're going to talk about ways to get funding for higher education, all kinds of scholarship programs happening in Maine. Amazing. Workforce development programs. I've been doing this for 28 years now. I know, feels like forever. Never seen this many programs able to help people go to school or get some kind of training after high school. There are college specific programs, and then there's other credentialing programs we're going to talk about. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is the FAFSA because that's our jam, okay? The free application for federal student aid. That's that one form students fill out and applies them for a variety of different aid programs. Now, the FAFSA for the 26, 27 academic year is going to open on October 1st. And I want to let people know that we are here to help you. Like we're all FAFSA ninjas at FAME, okay? So we hold virtual events where people can join us virtually. We put people into breakout rooms and we help you with one-on-one. We also do have one-on-one meetings you can schedule at famemain.com/contact. And that's a way, that folks can get one-on-one, especially if they have a more sensitive situation. That's a great way to meet with us and we'll help you get that FAFSA done. Pro tip, just want to let people know that the FAFSA covers traditional students, high school kids, or non-traditional adults. It's something for everybody. But it also covers people who are going to be full-time students or part-time students. There's aid for both camps, okay? So keep that in mind. And pro tip number two, I want to make sure folks know that FAME is giving away three $1,000 scholarships for people who are on the class of 2025 and 2026 contact list. Now, if you scan the QR code or you go to famemain.com/join, Mainers who are on our contact list are going to get tips on what to do and when. We don't send a bunch of information, but they are also going to be entered into a drawing for one of those three $1,000 scholarships. So spread the word. Okay, let's talk about scholarship programs. A partner I cannot say enough about is Maine Community Foundation. Maine Community Foundation, their whole gig is that they have funds to give out, okay? They have a variety of scholarship programs that they administer. So they have a profile that people can fill out, and it kind of gives them more information about who that student is so that Maine Community Foundation can look at their scholarship programs and tell them which programs they might be eligible for to apply to. So this is going to do a lot of that legwork for students already. So maincf.org is a great way to find that scholarship. Also want to mention that they offer scholarships regardless of citizenship status. So if you are working with some new Mainers, this is a great resource for them. But they also hold scholarship workshops all around the state and virtually. So this really gives people help on how to apply for a scholarship or how to apply for Maine Community Foundation scholarship. So go check them out. They are amazing. Maine is super lucky to have the scholarship program, which is the Worthington Foundation. Now, I always like to say this is a scholarship that you don't have to fight anyone for, right? If you qualify, you get it. They do have a limit to the number of scholarships that they will give out a year. I don't think we've ever hit that number yet. So I feel like I want to make sure every Maine student applies for this that feels like they're eligible. So the Worthington qualifications are that you are a Maine resident graduating from a partner high school. So this is most um, all public schools, but also some private schools as well. So you want to go to their website to see if there's a partner high school that you belong to. Um, you have to go to a partner college. That's any of the community colleges in Maine or any of these four-year schools that are partners in on the right-hand side of my screen. Keep in mind, this is 2025 list, so maybe for next year, this may be expanding to more colleges. Not sure, but it did expand last year. That's why I mentioned that. You have to have a grade point average of C or better if you're going to a community college, or a B or better if you're going to go to one of the partner four-year schools. So grades are important and they do pay. But also, if you can see that there is an SAI number that students have to meet, what that means is students have to file a FAFSA and they have to have a student aid index of less than 30,000. Now, that's keep in mind, this is this current year's cutoff number, subject to change next year. But the SAI is the end result of the FAFSA. This is all of the info on the FAFSA comes down to this one number. And when we look at different aid programs, that number tells us if someone qualifies or not. This cutoff point of 30,000 or less, that's a super low bar, guys. A lot of people in Maine will qualify for this. So if a student doesn't feel like they're going to go to one of these partner colleges, I would urge them to apply to one of those colleges and fill out this application. Currently, right now, what I'm working with some students who earlier in the year planned to go to a different school, and now they're kind of leaning towards one of these partner four-year schools, but they didn't apply for the scholarship. If you don't do it by their deadline, which was April 15th, they're not even going to consider you. I would love for students having this in your back pocket to use just in case this is a school that you do want to go to. So keep that in mind. If you do get this scholarship, it's worth $3,000 a year for 2 years at a community college. That's a huge chunk, guys. Also, if you're going to go to a four-year school, it's $5,000 a year for 4 years. So that's $20,000, guys. That's a ton of money. So keep in mind, this is a great opportunity for Maine students. Go get that. We've been so lucky to have the Mitchell Scholarship in Maine for a really long time. The Mitchell Scholarship gives out 200 recipients. So they give at least one Mitchell Scholarship to every public high school in Maine. Sometimes bigger schools have more Mitchell Scholars, but this is up to $10,000 in funds that you can get from the Mitchell Scholarship, but it's also so much more. It's very much a prestige thing. If when I worked at a college that we would always tout how many Mitchell Scholars we had at our school. But also, this is something that people get resources, additional funding opportunities. They have a mentor, they have a networking group. You could go do experiences with this organization. Like this is so much more. Like when they say $10,000 scholarship plus much more, it truly is. So this application is going to open in the fall of 2025 for 2026 graduates, and the deadline is March of 2026. So amazing opportunity. Um, the Maine Career Centers offers the Competitive Skills Scholarship Program, and I was lucky enough yesterday to be at a college fair, a post-secondary fair, right next to them, and listen to someone from the Career Center talk about how amazing this program is. Now, I know it's amazing, and you will too after this, but didn't really realize exactly what kind of dollar amount and things they cover. It's amazing. So, the Competitive Skills Scholarship Program is intended to get people credentials to fill high wage, in demand jobs in Maine. How amazing is that? So, this is something for people who have to be at least 18 years old or graduated from high school. They live in Maine. They're seeking a degree or credential in one of those high wage, in demand jobs. And there is a list of the jobs on their website, which is vast. Like, there's a ton of jobs. You have to qualify financially, so you have to have a household income of less than 200% of the federal poverty level, and you can complete the education or training program. So keep in mind, this covers like tuition and fees, but also there's funding for childcare, transportation, books, supplies, equipment, prerequisite training. When we think about the reason why a student doesn't succeed in a program, a lot of it comes down to those things: childcare, transportation, books, supplies. This helps cross over those barriers in a big way. So, competitive skills program, open, go get that. So this is scholarships. I'm going to go from scholarship to workforce development programs, and I felt like these FAME programs kind of straddled both terms. Okay, so Maine administers two tuition waiver programs. One is the foster care tuition waiver program. One is another one for students who have lost a parent in the line of duty. So first responders. I want to mention the foster care program because I get the most questions about this on the road, and I think there's a lot of uh, confusion about this program. So this is for people who can apply at any time. They don't have to be a high school senior. You can be in college or later, but you have to meet these qualifications. And keep in mind, this is a program where there are only 30 slots available. It is first come, first serve for those who qualify, and this program fills usually, geez, first day or first week, I would say. So if you know someone that this is going to be something they're going to apply for, if you can work with us before the cycle opens, which is going to be February or March, we can help you get ready to apply for this so that you get your application in time and complete. So this is for someone who is in Maine's foster care program or be adopted from the foster care program, and the adoptive parents receive a subsidy from DHHS. Now, I've worked with people whose adoptive parents did not accept the subsidy, didn't feel like they needed it, or it was something that they should have. So that took them out of the running. So I just want to make sure that you know that that is one of the qualifications for this. Um, when people apply, we take a look at financial need. If we have to come down to like, narrowing down the list, if we have a lot more people apply than we have slots for, financial need is one of those things that comes into play for this. So just keep in mind that this is kind of a limited program. So I want to make sure if people do know someone that they want to apply for this, work with us ahead of time. We'll get you ready. Now, I also want to talk about some of the programs that we also administer that really helps fill a need we have in Maine. So, programs that we have are for educators, people who are in the veterinary program. They're going to school for veterinary or dental or doctors. These are all jobs in Maine that we need to fill. And getting those degrees are expensive, and we want to make sure that people have the money to do this. I want to make sure if anyone wants to be a doctor, I don't want money to be a problem. Okay. So I want to talk about the educators for Maine because that is one is again that I think we need to tout a little bit more. The Educators for Maine program is a competitive loan forgiveness program. So if you are selected for this, you get a loan that you will get every year that you are in school. And if you stay and work in Maine as a teacher or more, but wait, there's more. For every year that you serve in Maine, a year of your loan is forgiven. So this could be classroom teacher, school counselor, librarian, special ed teacher, speech pathologist, child care providers, or jobs for Maine graduate specialists. That's a huge, like, that's not just educators. I mean, they are educators, but like, it's a pretty wide scope there. So check out famemaine.com for more information on that. The main apprenticeship program is something that just kind of came onto my radar. I want to say I'm late to this party, but like it is such a robust program that this is a pay while you learn, earn while you learn program. And this has grown so much. There is apprenticeships, paid apprenticeships, by the way, in healthcare, IT, architecture, farming, aquaculture, construction, clean energy, infrastructure, education, hospitality. Like there's a ton, guys. If you go to their website, you can search by where there are opportunities near you, and I guarantee you there is one. But also, this is such a great program. This could be anyone age 16 and up. Some programs are going to require more for 18 years and older, but you have to have a work authorization and be able to work. Um, this is an amazing program. They also offer information sessions. There's another one coming up June 10th at 11 a.m. So go check out all that they have to offer. This is super. Okay, so Eastern Maine Development Corp, whenever I see them out and about, I always make it a point to go talk to them because there's something new happening at EMDC every day. And I'm just giving you a snippet about the Workforce for Youth program that they have. So Eastern Maine Development Corp is an organization that has funding to help people get training for whatever kind of job that they're looking for. So there's help for classes, but there's also so much more. They get people can also get paid to learn a job. Like they can get it's almost like a apprenticeship or a paid internship. Gets them a foot in the door working with some of these businesses or into a career that they want to try out. They're not sure that they like, but they feel like that's a path they want to go down. This would be a great place for them to check in with. Um, they also have job coaching and resume building, leadership development, support services. Like this is so much more than just funding. So this is another place where I would say no wrong door. Great place to start on your search to get help because if they can't help you, I feel like I guarantee they were going to know someone that will. Okay, so for those of you who have heard of vocational rehabilitation services, Voc Rehab is something I've worked with for since I was working at a college that has funding to get people training to fill a job. But also, I don't think of the qualifications to get into a VR program. You need to have a physical, mental, or emotional disability. So this really covers a wide array of folks that I don't think know that this program actually could work for them. But so much more than just funding, like help with career counseling, working with people on what they want to do. So great services there. If anyone is in healthcare or want to work in healthcare, we have a program called Healthcare Training for Me. And this is what I like to refer to as a great way to level up, right? So if you are working in healthcare in any capacity, if you're a Maine resident, you could get financial assistance to level up, to go to the next level of training, to fill a higher level position. But also they have a ton of other training opportunities statewide. It could be virtual, it could be in person, but they have so many training opportunities. I would urge you, if this is a pathway you want to go to their website and get in contact with a navigator, and that person is going to help connect you with the right resources. So, Maine Department of Health and Human Services also offers some really great programs. So, for folks that are on SNAP benefits, there is the SNAP Employment and Training Program, which will help pay for training, getting some training to get a credential, um, but also offer you that service of getting you through the program, right? So that's one program. So if someone maybe doesn't feel like they qualify for that particular program, maybe they could apply for SNAP and see if they could get into that training program. There are a couple of programs for people who are parents and they want to get some training. The Hope program is also on the same website as the SNAP program. And this is for anyone who is a parent or caretaker relative of a minor child living with them, right? So this is for anyone who's a Maine resident between 16 and 64 years old. So wide gap there. There are financial qualifications. You have to be at least half time in a qualifying program. So contact them to see which programs will qualify. But these are for folks that are not currently receiving TANF or Parents of Scholars programs. So that's another program that if you don't get HOPE, maybe Parents of Scholars would be a program for you. Um, you can't have a marketable bachelor's degree, and you have to make progress within that degree program in order to stay within the program. So this again is another amazing opportunity that is not just funding for school, but also childcare, medical expenses, transportation, things like that. All those barriers that will make someone leave school, Hope's got you covered. Okay, so Maine Community College System has a variety of free short-term programs that are amazing. And I just want to share with you one that has my eye that I think I'm going to take this summer. But Financial Planner in a certificate program that they have is one that's coming up. But there are programs in all kinds of training. And the one I'm thinking about right now is they're working with BIW to get a welding program where they pay you in order to get that program. So some are just learning, they can be online, they can be in person. All of the community college programs has a different pathway and a variety of options for training. So great place to look there. But some of them also offer pay while you're learning. So check that one out. Okay, let's talk about college specific programs. Um, the University of Maine system was doing free college before Maine Community College was doing free programs. And I think that wasn't quite as well advertised as it is now. Like there's a massive push for free programs in Maine. But University of Maine Augusta, Fort Kent, Presque Isle, and Machias all have free tuition for students who are Pell Grant eligible. So they have to fill out a FAFSA. They're eligible for a Pell Grant. They will not pay tuition or fees to go there. Now, they do need to pay for room and board if they're going to live on campus, but just keep in mind that we can still apply for scholarships to cover that as well. How these programs work is that we apply for financial aid, and if you get like a Pell Grant, Maine State Grant, that goes towards tuition and fees first. And then if there's any balance left over, the college is going to wipe that out. That's how free tuition works. So a lot of people think that they get the Pell Grant above and beyond that will go in towards housing, but it's going to cover tuition and fees. And if there's any balance left over, the school will be covering that. Question in the chat, will this be shared with us? Yes, I'm going to share a copy of this presentation and a link to the recording. I'll probably get that out tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So University of Maine, the flagship school, also has a free tuition program. It's a little bit different. To qualify at the UMaine at Orono, you have to be eligible for a Pell Grant or have a student aid index, remember that's from the FAFSA, of less than 6,655. Now, keep in mind, this is a program that may change year by year, but if you qualify, you'd have free tuition. Also, there's a second pathway, and this is for folks that are Maine residents that have an adjusted gross income below $75,000 a year. So there's two different ways where folks might get free tuition at UMaine in Orono. So University of New England also has a free tuition program for students who have a grade point average of 3.85 or above, or have an adjusted gross income of less than $100,000 a year for the 2023 tax year. So keep in mind that this is one that you're going to have to qualify for with grade point average and financially. And this is another program that could change from year to year what the qualifications are. So check into that. But if you do qualify, this is free tuition for up to 4 years. So again, this may not cover housing, but again, I really want to push for folks to be applying for scholarships and saving to keep covering those costs as well. Kind of a way to piecemeal pay that bill that will match in great with these free tuition programs. The main community college program, I want to mention, I don't think people realize, like a lot of people know that the community college is free for Mainers, but I don't think folks know that this goes backwards. Like people who graduated in 2022, they still can take advantage of this program, even though they're not recent graduates, but it's limited time. So for someone who graduated in 2022, you got to get in this program this summer. Okay. And if you can see on the left-hand side, these are the dates that you have to enroll by to get into this program. Now, everyone asks me, is this going to continue? So I was asked yesterday, is this going to continue on for the class of 2026? We don't know yet. What I can say is that this program is super popular. People love it. It doesn't cost the state a bunch of money because, again, you have to fill out the FAFSA and accept Pell Grant and Maine State Grant before getting free tuition. So if folks don't qualify for a Pell Grant or Maine State Grant, the school will pick up the rest. But for a lot of folks, school's free anyway with those two programs. So I think I feel very optimistic about this. Fingers crossed, though. Like, stay tuned. More to come. Husson University has a program funded by the Sear family, which is amazing. This is for students of Penobscot County who or attend a high school in Penobscot County. They have to have a 3.0 grade point average by the end of their junior year and an adjusted gross income of 80,000 or less as reported on the FAFSA. So again, this is something that may change from year to year. So this is for up to 4 years of study, and this is at Husson. Learned about this 2 weeks ago. So see, there's stuff happening all the time that we just learned about. So St. Joseph's of Maine has the Growing Future STEM Teachers in Maine program. So this is something that students who are enrolled to be in a STEM secondary education program, they could get their junior and senior year covered. Um, you have to have return service in Maine, so you're going to commit to staying in Maine and teaching, which I feel like, why wouldn't you? I mean, what an amazing 2 years, up to $60,000 of tuition, plus travel to regional and national conferences, field experiences. You get a mentor after graduation, annual professional development. So this is a great opportunity for students at St. Joe's. University of Southern Maine has the Promise Scholarship, and this is a program that supports up to 100 students every year. So every year they take in 25 more students, and this covers 100% of demonstrated need. So students have to fill out the FAFSA, and it will cover 100% of that financial need. That can cover tuition fees, housing, meals. Um, it's an amazing program. So you have to be a resident of Maine, have financial need. You have to be enroll as a full-time student each term, be a first generation college student. This is preferred but not required. And you have to be nominated by a youth serving organization like FAME or a community program or school counselor. So check that out at USM. Okay, so now I'm going to move into other free training programs. New Ventures of Maine is awesome on so many different levels, but I just don't think folks know about their classes they offer for free. And these are classes that you can either take in person, online. Sometimes they are go at your own pace, but these are a sampling of some of the classes that are being offered now. Build your own business website, business planning for entrepreneurs. Every time I go to a high school or any school and I talk to students, I say, what do you want to do? And so many of them say they want to have their own business in whatever form that means. And I'm like, you've got to take some business classes, whether you go to college for this or not. But this is amazing for folks that want to start their own business. There's a ton of programs like business basics, bookkeeping, projecting cash flow, marketing strategy. You know what? I got a business degree. I know nothing about marketing. So keep in mind, these are great free classes. The University of Maine system has a series of micro-credential or badging programs where folks can get training on specific programs. And there is a ton of them. Computer specialists, leadership, aquaculture, um, critical thinking. Like there is 4 pages of these. This is a snippet of the badges that I saw. There's 4 pages of them on the UMaine System badge site. So go check that out. They can be online, they could be at your own pace. This is for anyone who is 13 to 17. They could be UMaine students or just Maine registrants, Maine residents. These are free programs, free training. Amazing. I also want to talk about new Mainers. I don't know that folks know that at FAME, we have a program for someone who comes to Maine, and sometimes their credentials are from another country. And getting those credentials translated and make folks eligible to work in the United States, that costs money. And sometimes that's a barrier to get that credential certified for Maine. So FAME has a program where you can apply for a grant of up to $1,000 to help pay for the process of getting that credential um, able so that people can get a work permit and be work ready. So that's amazing. But also for those new Mainers that want to go to school, a lot of scholarships may not actually pertain to them because of their citizenship status. We have a huge list of scholarship that are for students who aren't US citizens, and that's on our new Mainer website as well. Okay, that was super fast. Does anyone have another program that I didn't mention? Anything that you learned about recently that you want to share? I want to make sure that people do that. Feel free to throw that in the chat or the Q&A, and I'm going to mention that. Also want to let folks know that if you heard something that kind of sounds like what you might want to learn more about, or you have a particular situation, you're working with someone, you're not sure how to handle them, I want to make sure that you reach out to us. I feel like we are a hub of information. We work with a ton of partners to make sure that we can try to point you in the right direction um, for services that might help people get that dream job. So, anything in the chat? I've got our contact information here. I want to make sure folks follow us on our social medias. We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe someone put in the chat. I forgot to mention Nebby, tuition break. Okay, great program. Thank you, Christine. So for someone who is a Mainer and maybe wants to attend a school in New England, because Maine doesn't have the program that they need. Now, when you leave the state, often you have to pay out-of-state tuition. Well, if you are a Mainer and your program isn't offered here, you can go to the tuition, the NEBI site, and I will include that in the follow-up email, and you can see another school that will give you in-state tuition at that school in New England, even though it's out of state. So a great savings. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you all for joining me. If there's anything I missed, please let me know, and I'm going to put that in a follow-up email and get that to you guys as soon as I can.